And as a broker, you have to be licensed to operate in a certain state. So these are differences in what we have in the US and we have in Nigeria. In Nigeria, anybody can just wake up and say, I'm a realtor. You even write it on your bio, realtor, wealth advisor, real estate broker, without any form of formal training, without any form of certification, without any form of license, and you sell, right? You do referral, you get commission, and you get your sale at once. But in the US, if you are not registered to perform on a broker or registered as a broker in the US, you have no right to sell. In fact, if you do any referral, you are not entitled to any commission. What you just take is that you are doing a referral. Zero money comes to you because it is so organized there that once they get their commission, because they have to report is what they spend their money into, they cannot say they pay commission to someone without a license fee, either as a broker or as a realtor. It is almost tantamount to fraud. So when you are selling US properties, you have to first understand that. Now, because of GText and Associates, the platform we've now created is, okay, we are now in the US. We have some properties in the US. How can we ensure realtors all over the world can do what can earn commission with us? So we are standing in as a broker. But because US and Associates is not only in the US, it's in the UK, it's in Dubai, it's in Africa, we are now having a global license to operate. That way, as GText and Associates can now pay you commission when you make a sale. So typically, we are not supposed to even pay commission because you are not registered in the US. So when you are speaking to your clients, there's a way you also talk in a tone. Some of them know this, some of them don't know this. Some of them will say, are you licensed to operate? You can say, no, the broker I'm working with, that's GText and Associates, covers for all this. I'm a realtor under the brokerage firm, GText and Associates. That way, some of them may not be skeptical. Particularly when you are talking to people that live in the US, people of different descent. There are some deals that maybe you have spoken too much and they are not listening to you anymore. It's because they don't trust you, because they don't feel you are licensed enough, because they don't think you are qualified enough to sell US properties to them. So that's just a little bit of overview of the real estate space in the US, and I'll be focusing more on what we have. So today I'll be talking on 3 different portfolios. I'll be taking a holistic view on our GText Holdings USA portfolio in the US. I'll also do a little narrow down on what we have in Berkshire, and then I'll do a bit of narrow down on what we have in Valdosta. So here is our GText Holdings Berkshire. In GText Holdings US, we are a trusted leader in sustainable and luxury real estate developments all over the world. And the technology we are using in Nigeria here, focusing on green and smart homes, we're also doing the same thing in the US. Of course, our mission is to provide eco-friendly smart communities and upscale living solutions using innovation and technology. Our audience are investors, families, professionals looking for long-term value in their homes and investments with a track record of excellence in real estate development. We're always committed to innovation, quality, and excellence. Of course, our vision is still to become the largest developers of green and smart homes in the world. And some of our services in the US are residential and commercial real estate developments, smart and green community designs, and flexible investment options. It's been a real part of Dr. Stevens' training when he's talking about real estate. What they perceive as commercial in the US is a bit different from what we call commercial in Nigeria. So typically how we define commercial here in Nigeria is if you are renting it for shops, if you are doing stores, if you are doing a mall, that's what people typically think is commercial. But with the US market, with the international market, whenever you have more than 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, and you are renting it out, is termed as commercial real estate. So here you can buy a house, you can rent it out. People still look at it, you're doing it residential. But the moment you have a block of apartments, you build about 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, you are leasing it out, it now becomes commercial real estate. So, of course, in the US, our leadership team, we have Dr. Stephen Akinta, who is our chairman. We have Mr. Rana Ejas, who is our group CEO for GText Holdings. We have Mr. Sir Michael Kiro, who is our chairman of GText Land Board of Advisors. We have Mr. Adidapo Adesina, who is our country project manager. So what does it do? It helps us with acquisition. It helps us oversee our projects, the timeline, our construction processes. This is the person in charge. We also have Dr. Timi Ajibeya, who works with us as our country sales director in the US. So looking at 4 different projects. The first project is Jasper Golf Estate, Berkshire. And on this project, let me just narrow down to 8 because of time. Okay, I'm sure I've changed slides. So this is a brochure for Jasper, Berkshire. And for Jasper, Berkshire, I'm going to skip this. Of course, for credibility's sake, whenever I send this brochure to people, these are people who've worked with in the past. Some of them actually taught this estate, some of them have not. We had an import to our project in Valdosta. We had dealing with to our projects in the US as well. Some of these other people have also taught some of our projects here in Nigeria. So this is the last project we had in the US, which is 20 units of 3-bedroom townhouses in Valdosta, Georgia. We're partners in this project. This project was bought, renovated, and then resold to people and also being rented out. It's currently receiving an annual income of rent. I'll break that down later today. These are markets totally. We have in the US, we have in Europe, in Asia, in Nigeria as well. So why Texas? Why are we having most of our developments in Texas? Texas offers numerous attractive benefits for corporate locations, such as favorable tax policies and a growing tech talent pool. The beauty thing about Texas is very big, and Texas is actually bigger than the whole of Nigeria, which means many people do not know the exact locations in Texas. So when you're talking to your clients, you have to come with the mind that imagine you are telling someone to buy Jasper Estate in Nigeria. They'll ask you, where is Jasper? You say Lagos. Where in Lagos? You say Ibejuleki. Where in Ibejuleki? You say around the jetty. So when they're asking a product in Texas now, they'll ask you questions because it's that big. Where in Texas? Is it Houston? Is it this? Okay, no, it's not in Houston. Is it Berkshire? Where is Berkshire? You have to start using landmarks to talk about it. It's close to this, it's close to that. I was on a call yesterday with a colleague of mine's client, and he was asking these questions. But because I was more familiar with it, I said, where does this man know? I know this, I know this, I know Katie. Good. It's just about 15 minutes from Katie Mills. I know Sugarland. Yes, it's within 30 minutes from Sugarland. Oh, okay, I have an idea. You ask again, what is zip code? Okay, the zip code is XS. Can I send you the coordinates? To send the coordinates to check it. So that's what I'm talking about. Why Texas? Texas is actually a nice location because it has low tax at the moment. A lot of Fortune 500 countries are moving to Texas, which means tech is beginning to grow in Texas. High profile companies have come there. We have Oracle, we have HP, we have Charles Schwab. We've actually had Tesla also move to Texas as well. Elon Musk is actually big in Texas. Even the president too. Is also big in moving to Texas. So there's a trend of major companies moving to Texas over years, and Texas now has the most Fortune 500 companies of any state in the US. These are just some of the companies in Texas. You have ExxonMobil, Oracle, NRG, McKinsey. Many of these are oil and gas and also in tech. So we're looking at Jasper Berkshire Estate. This is the area view of what the estate is, 99-acre property. As you can see, the zip code is here. The zip code is 77432. It's actually on House Road, Berkshire, Texas. So a lot of people ask, what is the zip code? The zip code distinguishes different states, different locations, different streets in the US, because many of them still have similar names. So this is just the aerial view of what it looks like. It's a 99-acre property. These are some of the coordinates that surround it. It's close to a Flying J travel center. There are schools around Brazos County. There are airports around Pittsville, Pecan Hill, El Campo, and so on and so forth. So these are just some of the cities around. So when someone mentions they know somewhere around this, it just gives you an idea. Missouri City, Stratford, Sugarland. Someone mentioned Sugarland yesterday. I'm like, oh, I know this person. Richmond, fantastic. It's close to Richmond. Mission Bend, Rosenberg, Peckham Grove, Katy, Tomball, Bel Air, West University Palace, Wharton, Houston, Aldine, and Brenham. So these are around 38 miles around Berkshire, which is within 30 minutes. Some of them are 15, some of them are 20, some of them are 25, some of them are 30 within. So this is for you to understand and communicate. So you have this in your mind when you're talking to clients and are saying, where is it? Oh, it's close to this, it's close to this. Once you mention something and they know about this, they can picture where the land is and what the area is. So what are the opportunities available in Jasper, Berkshire? So a typical person that wants to buy this estate, for example, maybe someone in Nigeria, possibly someone that wants to expand to the US, someone that wants to start as a developer in Nigeria, wants to also develop in the US. Someone that bought a plot from me right now is working on migrating to the US. He's trying to use EB2 visa, which is skilled worker. But what him is trying to prove is that he has conquered Nigeria. He's now expanding to the US. In the US, what is he going to be doing? He's going to be creating jobs. He has gotten a plot of land somewhere. He's in partnership with GText Homes, USA. What we did was just write a letter of, what I call it, a referral letter, basically, that he owns the land with us. So some people are buying this to help with migration. We cannot give you a green card. We cannot give you a visa. We cannot help you migrate. But when you buy a property with us, we can actually help with your application by proving that you've bought property with us. Does that make sense? So one of the opportunities is foreign investment for people outside the US, creating an opportunity to diversify their portfolio. Because of the better economy of the US, in fact, there's a lot of money being pumped into the US. Trump's presidency has actually given us an edge when it comes to foreign investments. So people outside the US want to invest in the US and diversify the portfolio. This is fantastic for them. Also try to understand that what we are still doing here is land banking in the US. So anyone buying into Berkshire should understand that it is land banking. We are not thinking 12 months, you're not thinking 24 months, you are thinking 36 months. You're not thinking 12 months, you're not thinking 24 months, you're not thinking 48 months and above. That's what you're thinking. So yes, you're thinking 48 months, you're thinking 36 months, you're thinking 60 months, that's about 3 years to 5 years to get good return on investments. So because it's land banking, you can get an average of over 100% within the first 12 months and a potential 300% over 36 months. Another opportunity you have is that you can have access to construction loans from institutional investors for developers who want to develop their property. So some people you are talking to are already developers in Nigeria, right? And want to expand to the US, and they say, we like what GText is doing in the US. This is a very good platform for them. Now, unlike Nigeria, whereby you are alpha matter, you are the government, you are the one providing funding for yourself. You go to the bank, you are getting 28%, 30%, 26% construction loan. In the US, you can get better loans with institutional investors. You can get 12%, 11%, 13%. In fact, if you are not using it for commercial purposes, you can get as low as 7%, 8%, 9%. And these are opportunities that you have in the US that you can use to build. And many of them give you about 20 years, 30 years. You just have to show that you have cash flow from Nigeria, right? And this also helps with you in the US. Another thing is that this is a land in the well-planned service community. So what we are selling here is land in a service estate like we do in Nigeria. We are providing drainage, we are providing roads, we are providing infrastructure, facilities, all those things are available. So when you are buying your land, you're only focusing on developing your own lots or your own plots. So in the US, we call it lots, not plots, right? So lots of this size, lots of this size, lots of this size. Yes, they are also sold in lots and in acres as well. There's a standard size that they have for acres, but at the same time, an acre, a lot size can be anything. 3,500 square feet can be a lot size, right? 10,000 square feet can be a lot size. A lot, we don't want to call it plot. A lot is just what is cut across for you. So many of them can be using English that what is the lot size? Understand they are trying to say what is the plot size. So some of these terminologies used to help. Makes you seem like you are more skilled, you're more knowledgeable, you know what you are saying, you know what you are doing. Another thing is that buying land is also seen as a hedge against inflation. As property value tends to rise with inflation, preserving the purchasing power of the investment also makes sense. I visited a potential client yesterday, and we're talking about investments, also in the US, also in Dubai. And she was like, she spoke Yoruba, like, what if you're in me 5 years ago? But dollar ni one something, but dollar ni two something, right? But it makes sense. What she's trying to say is that if they had bought foreign properties 5 years ago, the value is still the same value. It has even increased. What is the difference? The difference is that instead of you getting $100 return on investment, as let's say you bought when dollar was 200, that'll be amount, that'll be 20,000. Now because dollar is 1.5, does that make sense now? You're going to be getting 150,000 every month. Does that make sense? So because should be seen as a hedge against inflation, as inflation tends to rise in Nigeria, right? Property value is increasing, your returns is better. Also in the US, there's also inflation everywhere. Now in Nigeria, I think inflation has gone down to, I saw 25%. I don't know how true that is. I saw 15%. I don't want to believe that, right? Maybe that's just a propaganda just trying to make the government look good. But in the US, you also have inflation. You have 3%, 4%, 6%. In the UK, it went as high as 12% at some point. Having land helps against inflation because property values tend to rise with inflation. Owning land also provides developers with complete control over the type of development, design, and the pace of construction. I've had conversations with people and they say, we don't want what you are building, we want to control what you are buying, right? So when they buy land with us, it gives them flexibility in creating properties that meet market demands. Also, purchasing land in Berkshire will be more affordable than buying a fully developed property. This offers an entry point for those that are looking to invest in real estate without the high upfront cost of developed properties. So because you are buying at a pre-launch offer, because you are buying during land banking, you can enter the US market at a lower point, right? Without having to buy what it will cost you to get a fully developed properties. So these are some of the benefits that when your clients buy and when you want to market is what you'll be focusing on. Some of the amenities that is a service estate, green areas, smart technology, sewage system, transport network, security, a golf course, a gym, a pool, sports center, dual entrances, and so on and so forth. So it is actually called Jasper Golf Berkshire Estate because we are going to have a golf course in the middle of the estate. So when they want to purchase, they have to fill a form, fill the subscription form, right? And of course, they are going to get an offer letter. They make payments, they send the proof of payment and the form, and of course, they get a contract of sale, and then they start purchasing. And at the end of the purchase process, they get, when they are done paying, they get a title deed in their name that is registered in Waller County, and they're good to go. To pay for our US projects, particularly for land, you pay to GText Land LLC, Wells Fargo. There's a bank address, there's a routing number. So whenever you have this is how you interpret. So whenever people want to make payments, particularly from outside of the US, use the international routing number. That's the WFBIU S6S, right? If they are paying within US, they use the local routing number. That's what they use. But we are accepting only dollars. We're not accepting naira. It's only dollars we're accepting because we want to stay within the regulations of the US. Because any other thing that they cannot trace, it will look like fraud, right? This is the beneficiary address. This is also our office address. And this is the number for beneficiary when you're adding these details. So they mostly ask many of these details, right? When you are making payment. This is all you need for that. And in some cases, some people ask for a pro forma invoice before they make payments, particularly when they are paying from Nigerian banks, right? They will say, what's the proof you are making this transaction for this? So we can create that and send to them, and they can use in return and to have these details as well. So the launch price is 300,000 per acre, but at the moment we are selling for 150,000 per acre. And if they are buying individual lots, individual plots, they are buying for 30K per acre. Now, if you are paying in 1 year, you are going to pay 40,000 per plot, but you can still pay 150,000 per acre if you are paying across a year. Okay, so we have a payment plan of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. They can make a 30 million deposit if they are paying 150,000 and spread. If they are paying 40,000, they can make a 5,000 deposit and spread across 12 months. Okay, I'll be talking about the GVS US later. This is just the transfer information for those that want to do the GVS US. So let's look at some of the FAQs you may likely get. What the property is located. I just shared it. It's at House Road, Texas. This is a zip code for it. Size of the property. The total property is 99 acres, and an acre is selling for 4,000 square meter, while a plot is selling for 500 square meter. Zoning regulations. Zone for single family homes, townhouses, although final zoning is still subject to plating approvals. Any utilities available on site, of course, we have sewage, power, gas, and so on and so forth. Can I build immediately? They can build as soon as they get permits. Permits in the US take a bit of time. In some cases, you have to wait 2 years to get your full permit. So we may not be able to build until the next 36 to 48 months. That's why I'm saying this land is still in land banking phase. So the beautiful thing is that even by the time they want to build, the value of the land has gone to from 150 to 300,000. Because by the time you start getting approvals for your land, the value of the land multiplies already automatically times 2, right? So some people may be worried about flooding. No, it's not prone to flooding, particularly Texas. Texas does not have a lot of flooding. But we've checked according to Department of Homeland Security, there's no flooding in this area. Some of the questions some people may also ask are, is there hurricane? Is there, what's this other one? Is it whirlwind that they call? Things like that is not prone to it. However, house insurance also covers that. Worst case scenario, your land is still there, your house is gone, you have insurance that still covers and basically compensates. That's the beauty about the US market. Can I subdivide my property? Buy an acre? Yes, you can get local zoning and subdivision regulations and further plat your land to divide into another 2 plots, another 3 plots, another 4 plots, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to talk a little bit about platting. Let me see. I suggest this information on flyer should be dropped in different groups. I'm sure teachers and associates will do that, Mr. Gabriel. So there's what we call platting in the US. In Nigeria, we call it survey. In the US, we call it platting. So whenever there's a land and the first thing you need to do is to plat it. So they have the horizontal platting, they have the vertical platting, right? The horizontal platting focuses on infrastructure, how you want to divide the land. You get a 99 acre, you say I'm dividing into 48 acres, and I'm putting road here, and this is where my drainage will be, this is where this thing will be. You now submit to them, they look at it and they approve it. Once they approve it, that's the first platting approval. The second platting approval is now for the buildings. Okay, on this place I'm doing single family homes, I'm doing condominium apartments. Sorry, single family homes is also known as fully detached duplexes. So when it's only you in a lot, it's called a single family home. I'm doing townhouses. Townhouses is also known as terrace. So when someone is saying, I want to buy a townhouse in the US, what they are saying is that I want to buy a terrace duplex in the US. So if you don't know what a terrace duplex is, you have to go and find out what a terrace duplex is. I want to buy a single family home. What they are saying is that I want to buy a standalone, fully detached. Yes, that's exactly what they are saying. So you have to understand what these terminologies are. I want to buy condominium apartments. They mean an apartment, a block of flats. That's what they mean when they are talking about that. High-rise building is high-rise building. So you understand some of those terminologies when you're marketing US properties and when clients are talking. Even though you have no information about it, you can just nod your head and say, oh, yes, yeah, we sold some, yes, we've had some, yes, this and this, just to sound more equipped when you're closing the sales. So yes, the second platting approval is now your vertical platting, where we are now focusing on this is what I'm building. They are checking your building, the design, they are checking the architectural, can it stand, and then they approve, and then you can start building. Okay, so any questions on Brookshare before I move to the next project? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay. So I'll move back to the other projects that we have. So yes, this is Brookshire, and this is a 3D view of what it looks like. As you can see, here we have the commercial areas where we have shops, we have malls, we have our playground around here. Here we have residential, where we are building, of course, it's also commercial because we are leasing some out, where we are building single family homes, where we are building high rise as well. Here's another view of what it looks like. As you can see, the Gulf is in the middle, right? This is very beautiful, and designs are done. So this is an idea of what we are building. We are building a big city, 99-acre big. Again, this is what it looks like. There's a little river in between the estates as well that are going to use for picnic areas, fishing activities, something for people to enjoy. As you can see, the Gulf is in the middle. And yeah, this is the final view. So people that buy into the land, this is where their land will be. You can see where my arrow is. Their land is actually facing the golf course or facing the river, which makes it a more premium and luxury place. These places where units are being built are where we are going to actually build and develop on our own. So where clients are asking, where is my land going to be? Oh, it's going to be premium facing the golf course or facing the river. We've spoken about the key features of Brookshire, spoken about this, the pricing. Yeah. So we expect to complete this project by 2030. It should be up to a $150 million project when we are done with it. And that is it. So estimated to start this September 2025. The second project we're having in the US is in Tidwell. We're having 24 unit developments of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. And this property is just 12 minutes from downtown Houston, 15 minutes from Bush International Airport. Now, this project is an investment project. So we are offering 3 different services in the US. You're either buying land from us, you're buying a house from us, or you're investing in our projects. So when people are asking, what will my investments go into? Yes, you can invest in the 99-acre, but some of the investments will also be going into rental units like this. So we intend to use this for Airbnb. We develop 24 units. We manage it for the next 2 years. And after 2 years, we can now start selling those units in the secondary market. So we're not selling this at the moment. This is just an investment project that produces cash flow for our US project. This is just an idea of what it looks like. And it's a very fantastic strategic location. It's across the main road, exactly in front of the main road. It's in Tidwell. It's a fully developed area. There's access to bus station, access to every other thing, and it's fantastic. So the third project we're having here is Jasper Estates in Richmond, Texas. It's including Richmond, and here we're actually selling land, and we're also doing investments, and we're also selling houses. Let me see if I can bring down let me narrow down the brochure of this. I believe I have just 20 minutes more. So, okay, I think you can see my screen now. So Jasper Park, Clothing, Richmond, Texas. So this is the area view of what it's going to look like. This is what the estate is going to look like. It's going to have about 89 units. We've gotten the first platting approval for this, which is the horizontal platting. We're working on the vertical platting now. So now this layout, this design has been approved to build 89 units. So what we are doing is either we are building the 89 units or you are buying individual lots of those 89 units to build what you want to build at your own peril, right? We're going to be building 3-bedroom single family home with a garage over here. Of course, it's a beautiful estate. This is another area view of what it's going to look like. I'm sure you can see this. It's located including in Richmond. 89 units here. Prime location, diverse investment opportunities. green living, smart technology. All the homes are going to be smart, voice controlled, and so on and so forth, as you normally do. This is another view of what it will look like. As you can see, there are solar panels on the roof. 3-bedroom, single family homes are here. This is just a prototype of what it will look like. Of course, designs are being improved as we speak. There's going to be an option of a balcony and an option of not a balcony. So what are we selling? How much are we selling it? So people that are interested in buying one plot in Jasper Park Clothing is 120K per lot. You can make a 30% deposit and spread across 12 months. Now you are interested in the housing, you can make a 30% deposit across a year. And then when you are done with your 30%, we connect you to a mortgage facility that gives you 70% across 20 to 30 years. Right? So it's going to have 5,000 per unit if you're interested in this. But of course, we can give you a year to pay 30% of that. Right, 30% of that is about one. Can someone calculate that for me? Should be about one something $1,000 in a year, and then they spread the rest across 30 years. To pay for this, there's a different account number to pay for this. It's not the same account number we get for land. It's not the same we get for GText. Yeah. So that's about that. So if you have any question regarding this, you can drop it on the chat box. Yeah, I've shared the landmarks already for Brookshire. So there's a folder for this actually. There's a folder where all this information are. I'm sure the associate team will drop the folder where you have the slides. And of course, they are going to share the slides to you as well individually. So you can have an idea. Okay, thank you. $112.5 thousand they can spread in a year. Fantastic, thank you. So I'm moving back to the general slide because of time. Yes. Again, it's just showing us what I've already shown you. I just narrowed down. Oh, it's the same thing. I just narrowed down on the brochure of what it looks like. So of course, flexible payment plan, we can connect it to a mortgage. The last one we're also having is an investment project. So our office is located at 518 West Spring Boulevard in Katy, in Texas. The beautiful thing is that behind our office, we have a piece of land as well. So we want to build a 6-story office complex, right? A modern 6-story office complex where people can now lease out or buy office spaces as well. So many of them is going to be open plan. You can have your breakout space and open office. You can also use as a hub as well. And these are another investment projects that people that invest in GText go into. So you invest in our US projects, you are investing in 4 different projects, either a 99-acre property, or you're investing in a Tidwell property, you're investing in a Clothing Richmond property, or you're investing in this office space we're also building behind our office. So this project is between 10 to $15 million, and we're completing this project in 2028. This is our return on investment, but there's an offer we have at the moment that we're doing. Just give me a minute. Let me be sure I have that. But if you have any questions, you can drop it. Okay, let me just switch to the last one where I get the offer that we have for investments. Does GText have a product in the UK? Right now, we are focusing on US developments, but of course, we have partners in the UK that we push per request because UK is a very diverse market. And if you need something in the UK, we rather work with your request rather than push out properties. Some of our partners are not very comfortable with us marketing their properties up front. They do it based on requests. And we don't want to get into trouble with some legal partners that we have in the UK. That's why intentionally you cannot see a flyer of us saying we are selling this in the UK. It ruins the partnership we have there with them. So yes, we have some things in the UK. We have a list of questions you usually ask, like what do you want to buy, how do you want to finance, just to ensure we save out time wasters in the UK as well. So yes, we have some things in the UK, Mr. Weston. Yeah, I have 10 minutes left. So this is Shalom Park's condominium townhomes in Valdosta, Georgia. And like we said, it's about 20 units that is available for sale. So this is what the townhouse looks like, or terrace buildings. So as you can see in a townhouse or a terrace buildings, each of the units are sharing a wall. It's not fully detached. So you have one block of 5 apartments. We have 4 blocks of 5 apartments. Sorry, 5 units. And it's 3 bedroom, 2.5 baths, and a car garage. So it's difficult for you to say what we call a suite in the UK and in the US. You can get that in Dubai, but mostly in the US, in the UK, they are used to it. They are used to, so and they ask you how many baths. You say 2.5 baths. 2.5 baths means, what does that mean? It means 2 bathrooms and what? And 3 toilets. The half bath is required, is known as a toilet. So 2.5 baths means 2 bedrooms and what? 3 toilets. Because bedroom and toilet comes together. Do you understand? So some of this terminology you should be able to explain it. I've seen some jokes, someone saying, how you have a 4 bedroom and you have only 1.5 baths. It means someone can only shower in one bathroom and do what you want to do in the second one. So it's typical to them. Many of them, they are quite comfortable with it. So, but 2.5 baths is a lot. It's quite luxurious in the US too as well. And 1 car garage. Of course, you can park into the garage. You can also park on your driveway as well, as you can see in the units there. They are currently 100% occupied with outstanding rental history. So if your client is looking for rental income in the US, stable rental income, this is what they are looking at. Plenty of parking with additional overflow parking available. Desirable location near shopping, schools, restaurants, entertainment, and more. It's located at Barack Obama Boulevard, Valdosta, Georgia. 3400 to 3418. That is the street address. That's the zip code, 31602. It's quite important when you're talking to clients in the US. Zip code is very important with how they look for units. You put this on the Google map, you don't get the zip code, it takes you somewhere wrong. So again, this is what we have. The features of the property: large living room, spacious, private patios out at the back. That's at the back, there's space, there's a garden at the back. The current rental rate is about $1,450. Of course, you have to start speaking like you're in the US. You don't say $1,450. No, it's $1,450, $1,500, $1,600. Do you understand? $1,610. That's how they speak. They don't say, they don't say 1.5. they don't say 1.2. They say 1,200, 1,500. That's how we speak for those of us that live in the US. You understand? So there's a way you communicate with them. It's projected to increase to about $1,600 next year as this year, because there's a new Valdosta State University around here. There's a new Air Force also around. It's important, and this also drives up the rent. The beautiful thing about these units is that when we took over this unit was rental income was about $850, $950 in a month, and then because of the renovation, we're able to jack it up to as high as $1,200, $1,300, even if the current rental rate is about $1,450 in a month. So when your client is buying this, they understand that what they are getting here is rental income. Now it's fully furnished, insulated, ceiling fans, blinds, garage door opener, there's carpets, luxury vinyl tiling, window features are thermophane, thermopane, and so on and so forth. Of course, it also comes with appliances. The microwave, now you get you're doing out the dishwasher, you're doing out the refrigerator, you're doing out the electric range. So if you are renting it out and someone moves out and you want to live there, you are staying there, which means you can even still use it as a shortlet because it has everything that you need in the unit. Exterior, there's a sprinkler system, so what you can say everybody has a little bit of a little lawn. There's a covered patio, the clothes are paved, or they call it tarred or paved. You have cooling features, you have heating system, all fully done, because again, it was recently renovated. The lot size, you can see what the lot size. The total lot size is 2.2 acres for the whole property. The lot size square feet is about 96,703. This is the dimension. Garage spaces is 2. Parking features 2. Garage and driveway. There's a public sewer, there's a water system also accustomed to this unit. So when clients are asking, what are they buying? I think I have someone here, FIFA was talking about someone that wanted to buy this. If you run through this presentation, they'll be more willing to purchase. Annual tax amount is about 21,699. That's for the whole unit. The tax year has been since 2021. This is just talking about the neighborhood, other things that also people want to know how they can get there. Again, it was first built in 2006. These are the construction materials. Everything is available on the public record. It's 16-year-old property, just 2 stories, and so on and so forth. Yeah, these are contact information to reach out to us regarding this property. So we spoke about it getting an annual rental income of about 1,450 per month, and then you can spread across a year. So every year, just calculate it across a year, and it has its own rent rules. So you have clients that will be asking, do you have rent rules? Rent rules means, is there a proof that people have been renting this over a period of time? We have rent rules that we can be able to share with your clients so that they can be able to convince that people are renting it out. Other questions people be asked is that, do I require to be in the US to be able to get rental income on this? No. We currently have a property management company that manages it for you. So if you take it over, they give you your net rent. They remove tax, they remove service fee, HOA, that's head of HOA, that's head of housing authority, home ownership, association, and they remove their fees from that, and then you get your net and start getting cool money in cash. Are the properties in the US with mortgage facilities? Yes, we can connect you with institutional investors that will look at your credit history, even if you're in the US or not, right, and get your mortgage there. Yes, you can have the slide. The slide we made available. So that's within Valdosta. How much is it? Yeah, how much is it? We're selling, where is it? We're selling for 250,000 for the middle terraces, and for the end terraces, we're selling for 275. End terraces are what we call the units at the edge. Middle are the ones in the middle. The ones at the edge are always more expensive because it's always more spacious. There's more parking space because at the edge. The ones in the middle are always in the middle, so that's why they are less expensive. And payment plan, you can pay across a year. You are willing to do 50% upfront, and then you spread your balance across a year. Now, it's also important that for some of these people that want to buy in the US, you don't sell. Yes, you want to close. Yes, you want them to make a commitment, but there are some properties that you don't necessarily just give out your account for them to make payments. Like for this, because of you are trying to ensure people are not doing money laundering. Do you understand? So let them know that when they pay, there's no refund. It's someone, because we have people that typically they launder money and they say, how much is your unit? Let's say I'm buying this whole unit. Let's say I'm buying 4 units for $1 million, for example. They go and pay 1.5, and they say, this is this. Can we have $500,000 back? You move the 500,000. IRS sees, they flag it. They are suspectable for fraud. Boom, they carry you. So intentionally, we are not always in a hurry to give out some account details. We try and say, fill this form first, right? Let us send you an offer. So there'll be a bit of documentation, particularly for this Shalom Park apartment, right? Because we also understand, how do you want to pay? Are you paying from the US? Are you paying outside the US? Just to cover some of our businesses like that. For other investments, yes, we can allow you to pay because we're also covered with the jurisdiction of Nigeria, and we can make it work. I hope that is understandable. Yes, I think that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any other questions? Are all prices inclusive? Yes, they are inclusive with closing costs. They are all inclusive. They are all inclusive. And the commission for this is fantastic, actually. If you make a sale for us at Valdosta, we are giving you a whooping 5% commission. 5%. We are willing to give as high as 5%. Sell a house in Valdosta. If you do investment in the US, we are giving you a whopping 2% in the US. But for Valdosta, we are willing to do as high as 5% commission. As high as 5% commission. I'm trying to bring out one more flyer for you, which is for the investment, so I can quickly break it down so that I can wrap up. Or do the team have the latest US investments? Okay, yeah, I have it now. Please, any other question, please? I think I have just 1 or 2 minutes left, so I can stay in time. Any other question, please, before I go? No question?
There's a question from Ikoyi branch.
Okay. They can ask, please.
Okay, so good morning, Mr. This is not really a question. I'm just looking to get in the slides. So I asked earlier, but I think after the power went off, I'm disconnected, we couldn't get the message. So we're thinking, how can we get the slides, please? Thank you.
Yeah, this is an associate to provide it for you. They'll provide the slide for you. There's a folder all these slides are. There's a US folder, product knowledge folder, but you can also share the slides individually so that you can have access to it. Yes. So yes, these are current US investment opportunities. People that want to invest in our project. So these are termed by 18 months. So 14% across 18 months for $10,000, 60% across 18 months for $20,000, and so on and so forth. So we do minimum of 3 years investment. They can do 6 years, 9 years. They get their capital at the end of the 3rd year, but they can get their ROI every 18 months. So many of them may be asking questions like, how much annually? I don't want 18 months. Yes, we pay 18 months, but to know the annual, you just multiply times 2 and divide by 3. Do you understand? So for someone that is doing $10,000, it is about 9 point something% annually, but we pay every 18 months. You can see the higher it is, the higher your ROI. Someone does $100,000, that's almost 15% per annum that they get. The traditional banks that they have in the US do naturally, most people do between 7 to 8%. So what we are offering is actually higher than what they actually offer that you can get in national system that they have in the US. So this is a very good deal. And the higher they invest, the higher their returns, the higher they invest, the higher their returns. So I think that's all for me. That's all for my time. It's 9:01. Any other question I can see? Let me see. Commission Valdosta 5%. Documentation fees, no. Nope. For US land, also no documentation fee that will be given to them. Title of the property, they don't necessarily do title like that. At the end, you just get your land, your title. There's no C of O. It's either a freehold or a leasehold. So all the properties there are all freeholds. So at the end, you get a title deed, and it's registered in your name, which means you go to the county in that area. They search for double O homes, and they see double O homes there. So those are the housing title that they get. It's called the title deed. You can use it for mortgage or any other thing, but they don't necessarily have titles that we have here. We are the ones that have our land use act. They don't have the land use act. That's why they don't have titles. Even in Dubai too, they don't have land titles like that. It's either freehold or leasehold. Freehold means you own it for life. Leasehold means you lease it over a period of time and you return it back to the owner.